Hey, it's Denise. Today I wanted to talk about maintenance, or at least the starting of maintenance. On October 29th, when I went down for my visit, it was decided I was right where I needed to be and I was starting maintenance. I thought this was awesome. My doctor thought this was awesome. The first few days, first week, were a challenge because I lost like another pound or two, and I did not want to lose anymore. Excuse me. You might be wondering, hey, why not lose more if your body's saying go for it? Well, I can sum that up. Saggy skin. I'm at a weight that's healthy. My knees don't hurt as much as they did. My blood pressure is normal. My heart rate is normal. I don't have sleep apnea anymore. So, health-wise, the weight loss did what I needed it to do. My starting weight when I met my surgeon was 240 pounds. I think they had me as actually at 238 on their scale as my first visit. And when I went in for my surgery, I was 212 that morning at the hospital. And I'm now 162. Perfectly happy with the weight. The problem is that health insurance will cover the tummy tuck because that amount of loose skin does cause problems. It causes rashes underneath and skin breakdown underneath, that can actually bleed. It can get so bad. Even though, you dry yourself thoroughly after you shower and stuff. When you just got like skin hanging, leaning flat on skin, it's, that's not a natural state really. It's not really how your body's supposed to be. So unfortunately, you are set up for infections or skin irritation that hurts. So that usually most people's insurance will cover after weight loss surgery. There may be some stipulation as to how long you have to wait or how long you have to be stable, at your maintenance weight. But generally, most people's insurance seems to cover that. The problem that I'm having is loose skin everywhere else. I'm starting to feel like I'm wearing a suit made out of elephant skin. It is saggy and baggy and wrinkly. And I hate it. I hate how my legs look. I can feel that the loose skin is saggy on my back. My arms, you can't really see in clothes. I don't have a bra on. You don't imagine my boobs up here where they would be if I had a bra on, where they used to be before weight loss and gravity. Those bitches took a toll on them. But dressed, yeah, my arms look normal. They look fine. But it's like, if you realize that really my arm end's kind of here. This is all saggy, loose skin. And I know the tummy tuck is going to help around the hip area because my hip bones, you can poke and feel hip bone. If I'm lying on my side, the side that's pointing upward, the bone's right there. The only thing over it is loose skin. I'm hoping the tummy tuck kind of pulls that skin up a little bit because technically it's below your stomach. So I'm hoping it'll tighten that up. But anyway, so the first week of maintenance, it was a challenge not to lose. It was a challenge to try to get extra calories in that weren't just purely, empty calories, which sometimes are the easiest ones to eat. Chocolate. It's like, okay, I'm eating 300 calories worth of chocolate because I need to get these calories in and I am so not hungry anymore. I only did that for 2 days. I did end up calling my nutritionist at the surgeon's office, and she, again went over making sure that I was trying every single day to add in a healthy carb and a healthy fat. And I had been doing that, but it wasn't easy. My stomach took a while to, I was using avocado oil as my healthy fat. That didn't seem to be a problem at all. But my stomach was not happy at first when I tried to eat like part of a sweet potato. The first time I tried to eat some wheat thins, the crackers, they've gotten a little easier to eat. I haven't tried the sweet potato again. It just made me feel so, that awful full feeling like when something feels like it's never going to go down, it's just going to sit there all day. That's kind of how I felt about the sweet potato. So she said, start keeping a food journal. I was like, okay, we're definitely thinking the same way, because I had started that the day before. And I said, really, my question is, what calorie, what number of calories should I be aiming for? Because the whole time I've been losing weight, I have not counted calories, other than to make sure that, say, my yogurt or cottage cheese that I'm buying has the right amount of calories, protein, carbs, and fat. But overall, was I counting calories? No, because I wasn't eating enough to, I guess, get anywhere near the number of calories that you could stop losing weight on. When I was sticking to the purely, high protein, low carb diet that you're on during the losing phase. So for the last few days, she said that for someone my size, I'm 5'6" and relatively large boned, large framed, my ribs show. And yet I know from past experience in my 20s, when I had gone to a diet doctor whose treatment was just to load you up on amphetamines, I know that with my ribs at that point, they were sticking out. I'm never going to get smaller. I'm never going to comfortably really even wear a size 14 shirt. Unless it's of a stretchy fabric, because just my shoulders are wide. There's no fat on them anymore, and they are wide. You can even see the beginning of clavicles. I know, it's shocking. All the flab that was here is, that extra padding flab is gone. Little loose skin, of course, but that I'm not worried about. That doesn't look bad. But yeah, my ribs are, like people's ribs should be, except of course, I can pinch this extra skin, which I just feel like, not that I'm 51 years old. I'm not looking to start a career as a bikini model or anything. And I've had 2 C-sections. The surgical scars on my stomach, it's like a topographical mountain of the map of the Rocky Mountains or whatever. Not expecting to look perfect. But I was hoping that in a bathing suit, we're talking, full coverage kind of bathing suit, that I would be comfortable. And now that I see what my thighs look like, and quite frankly, my non-existent butt, plenty of loose skin, no butt left. I'm horrified. This, So there you have it for why I don't want to lose any more weight. I do not want that getting worse. Don't want my legs getting any skinnier, like I said. But so the nutritionist said aim for around probably, I said, she think 1,000 calories. She said probably around 11 or 1200 would be where I was going to end up, maintaining. And she said that it can take a couple months for people to find what is the right number for them to maintain. And I thought, okay, so made the effort of bumping up to at least 1,000 calories a day, between like in the 1,000 and 1,100 calorie range. At no point did I actually hit 1,200, but like I did get like 1,120 or 30 or something. And I'm thinking, okay, this is good, because for 2 or 3 days, I stayed the same. And now this morning, I wake up half a pound heavier. And I know we're not supposed to let ourselves freak out over half a pound, but I just feel like, on the one hand, yes, I was very happy that I stopped losing. I think I've made it clear I don't want to keep losing, but I don't want to start gaining. And I just have a hard time, like, even getting my head around how I could gain at less than 1,200 calories a day. The only thing I can think of, and I don't know if this is right, I know that if you have any excess carbs and your body's trying to hold on to them, I mean, when we're on our high protein, practically zero carb diets, our livers really don't get to store much glycogen because there's no available carbs. But now that I'm reintroducing carbs, you would think I'm using them all, because at 1,000 or 1,100 calories for a person who's 5'6", that's not a lot of calories. That would normally, at 1,200 calories, you'd be losing weight. And I don't think the lack of most of my stomach should change the fact that, I'm not 4'10". I'm not a petite person. You would think maintaining a 5'6" large framed body requires at least 1,000, 1,200. When I was younger, at 1,200 calories, that would be like, oh no, Weight Watchers, 1,200 calories of vegetables, it did not even cross my mind to worry that I would gain weight at less than 1,200 calories. So now today, I'm kind of just trying not to freak out. I'm trying to look at, maybe my liver is storing a little bit of glycogen because it's finally getting some carbs to work with. We all know that when you first start dieting, those first few pounds that drop fast, with glycogen, water is stored. So maybe because of the carbs, my liver is storing a little glycogen and storing some water with it. Maybe it's not, fat weight gain. Maybe this is just my body readjusting to not being in the basically starvation mode that it's in the whole time that you're losing weight. Whatever it is, I don't like it. I don't like seeing that scale go up. My initial gut reaction to it was like, oh my God, I'm not eating today. Well, not like in an anorexic, I'm not eating anything, but like I'm eating what I was eating when I was losing weight. You can see, got my yogurt for breakfast. Now, yesterday I had a yogurt, but with it I had one of those like 50 calories of like cut up fruit in Jell-O. And it was really filling. I mean, you would think like the gel part just turns to water at, once it's at body temperature. So I didn't think it would be that filling. And the little tiny peach pieces, I chewed very well. But with the yogurt, I was full for quite a while after that. And I was like, okay. I added, a little bit of fruit. yeah, there's some sugar in it, but 50 calories, how much can it really be? And I was like, good. Later in the day, had some of the bean soup that homemade bean soup that I made a few days ago. And again, it's like a couple little bits of, finely diced ham in it, some beans, and low sodium chicken broth. That's all I put in it. There's no oil, there's no sugar, so it's a very healthy, soup. There's no cream of anything. There's no, like I said, I didn't add any kind of oil. I figure the fat that exists naturally in the very lean ham that I put in there is plenty of fat. And, it's not like I can eat a ton of it. I had a cup, of which, half is the broth, which has basically no calories. It's 10 calories a cup for the low sodium chicken broth that I had bought. So again, not a lot of calories. The only difference is there are beans in it, which are a carb that up until this point I have not been eating. So today I'm really kind of a little freaked out about the fact that the scale went up. I'm afraid if I eat like I ate yesterday, my nutritionist said I was in too much of a rut of using the protein shakes and yogurt and the protein chips as my meals, and that I needed to get out of that and start eating real food, maybe only have like one shake a day instead of the at least two that I was having. And, to start eating like real food and less post-op bariatric patient losing weight food, which I also noticed though that those are the foods that were sitting the most easily on my stomach. So like, the yogurt, the protein drinks were very comfortable to eat, and they don't sit there, they go down easy. I had another somewhat unrelated, related to weight loss surgery and stuff, realization yesterday. And that was at one point I'm thinking, why do I still feel so full? It's been like 2 hours since I had the soup. There's no way. The beans were cooked to the point of, you didn't need teeth. You could just have mushed them with your tongue against the roof of your mouth. They're soft. I had used a 15 bean soup mix, not like flavoring packet soup mix, just a 15 bean mix, I should say. So some of that are tiny things like lentils, and they cook up to practically liquid. They kind of just, I guess, thicken the soup a little. And the larger beans are really the ones that still stay solid, because I had pressure canned this, so that will cook things sometimes a little more than you'd like them cooked. Anyway, but it had been too long, and I was like, why do I still have that uncomfortable full feeling? And then I realized I can't still be full. And I took a drink and went down fine. Clearly my stomach was not full. And I realized that sometimes I think the discomfort of hunger I'm feeling is a very similar sensation to still feeling full. They're both just a sort of mild, sort of epigastric, uncomfortable feeling. Not pain, not nausea, just an uncomfortable feeling. So it's like I'm mistaking being hungry for still being full, which completely was like, wow, when I realized that the feeling's the same. I mean, it's not that overstuffed I'm gonna throw up. Like if you've done that to yourself, where I know I did it twice during my earlier post-op days, where I ate stuff I shouldn't have, and actually ended up after an hour of just feeling like death and nausea, finally threw up. That happened to me twice. So I do not like to get anywhere near that point. And pretty much the second I feel like enough, that's it. Not another bite. So I really try not to get that, like there's a brick sitting there feeling. And yesterday I was thrilled. I ate for the first time a piece of real whole wheat bread with a tiny little skimming of about a tablespoon of peanut butter on it, which these are things I was told I could eat. And I mean, to say that I chewed this a ridiculous amount is an understatement. I mean, only people who've gone through this can picture, like, I was so paranoid that the bread would be a problem because I've heard a number of people say that bread just sits there like a lump. I mean, I chewed this bread till it was like there was not anything that could be considered a lump going down my throat by the time I swallowed it. Excuse me. Allergies. I already took the allergy pill this morning. My nose is still itchy. So on the positive side, it was like, yay, I can have a piece of whole wheat bread. It's 100 calories. It's something my dietitian said that I could add, like that would count as a healthy carb for the day. So, and the peanut butter, okay, there's my fat. It's not the healthiest fat, but yeah, it's a high fat, little bit of protein going on. And I did not go for a whole 2 tablespoon serving because I was just afraid that it'd be a bit too much. But, a very, like, the thinnest layer you could imagine on the bread. So it was probably like a tablespoon, a little over a tablespoon. And I was happy that went down and didn't give me that. I felt full. I knew I had eaten, but I did not get that, like, brick, it's not moving feeling, or, I ate too much feeling. So that was good. My concern, though, is yesterday, forgive me for turning my back on you here for a moment. Yesterday, while I thought I was doing so fabulous, let's see. Yesterday was Saturday. I had 1,060 calories total. Friday, I had 1,010 calories. Oops, skipping a page. Thursday, I had 1,120. Wednesday, I'm not quite sure. I realized that it was only at 690 calories, and it was getting to be late, and so I made a shake. I made a protein shake that I then I made it with skim milk instead of my usual almond milk, and I threw in a couple frozen strawberries, which is not unusual. But I also put in 2 tablespoons of peanut butter, like real peanut butter, not PB Fit or PB2 if you are familiar with those. So it took me almost 2 hours to drink it, though. You would think, even though you totally pulverize it and liquefy it in the NutriBullet, that does not fool your body. It still knows all that extra food is in there. So that day I might have hit 1,200 calories. The day before, my first day of maintenance was Tuesday. I only hit 760 calories. I knew that wasn't enough, but it was my first day of really trying to increase and starting to be aware of what I was eating. And that's the day that I cheated and ate like 200 calories of chocolate, just because I I couldn't seem to get the calories in. But as you can see, I've really been keeping it at probably about between 1,000 and 1,100 calories a day for the last few days. I certainly did not expect to gain weight. Sorry, Hedwig. She blends in with my new comforter and pillows. She is a snowy owl, you know. She's kind of camouflagey like that. Stay. So that's where I'm at today. I'm at trying not to freak out and just go back to eating the foods that will make me lose weight, but also looking at, did I overdo it with the carbs? Is this just simply a matter of like I said, my body had the carbs available, so it stored them? I wouldn't think they'd stay available when you're eating that few calories. You should be burning them. I was busy all day yesterday. Was canning stuff, was doing housework. I do have some limitations, of course, because of the myopathy from the spinal cord injury I had a while back. So, you know, I don't do any sort of vigorous activity like I used to, you know, pre-injury, or like most people do. Although I certainly have more energy now. And I think part of that is not only am I carrying around 77 or so less pounds, but I'm also finally not in starvation mode. These last few days of eating some carbs, I definitely have more energy, which I hadn't even thought about that. The fact that I've gotten used to feeling a little bit run down. Well, I guess when we're totally depriving ourselves of carbs during the weight loss phase, it sort of makes sense that you'd feel run down. So I was like, yesterday I was thrilled. I felt like I was getting a lot of stuff done. I was not over, you know, like I said, it was like 1,100 calories. How can you gain weight on that? Well, today is going to be a nerve-wracking balancing act of trying to get this right and trying to stay patient with the process. Like I said, my dietitian did say it takes most people a couple months to figure out what works for them. My fear was, though, of continuing to lose during those couple months. I really did not think I had to worry about gaining, you know, unless I started, like, I don't know, living on ice cream or something ridiculous. But, you know, short of that, just by adding some healthy carbs and stuff in, I didn't think I had to worry at under 1,200 calories about gaining. And now I know better. I do have to worry about that. So, wish me luck. We'll see how the next few days go, and hopefully things will level out. I just don't want to have to live my life of every day looking at the scale and then deciding, do I need to live on protein shakes today, or can I eat? You know, like, I did not want to become food obsessed or develop an eating disorder. You know, I made it to 51 and being overweight most of my life without ever, you know, doing any of the unhealthy anorexic, bulimic type things. So I certainly have no intention of starting that now. But I don't want to have to be like, oh, I gained half a pound, so for the next 2 days I better not eat carbs. Like, that's not maintenance. That's not how it's supposed to work. So I guess that's it. It's frustrating. And of course, that fear of gaining the weight back after you go through your surgery and went through all of that work to lose it. The idea that it could come back on is scary. The idea that it could come back on when you're eating less than 1,200 calories kind of freaked me out. And that's it. Gonna try not to let it freak me out. Gonna try not to let it ruin my day. You know, I'm not gonna sit there and obsess over every bite, but I do think I'm gonna eat less carbs today than I ate yesterday, I can tell you that much. And I just don't want the dietitian being like, Denise, I'm looking at your food diary and you went back to living on protein shakes and yogurt. You can't do that. And part of me is like, yes, I can. Yes, I can live on protein shakes and yogurt. I hope everybody's weight loss journey is going well. I hope you're feeling good. I hope if you're not feeling good, like I had been for that good long while. And just as a quick little follow-up, I had mentioned to you all that I did initially try medical marijuana illegally. I didn't go buy marijuana from a drug dealer, but someone I am close with who is on it had given me some to try because I was so dehydrated and having to get IV fluid so frequently and feeling terrible. Long story short, because I've already told it, it worked. I felt much better. The nausea went away. I was able to stay hydrated then without a problem. I've been able to eat without feeling nauseous. So I did follow through. I went and saw a pain management doctor who agreed that it was a good idea, both as far as maintaining my weight and also as far as the neuropathy I have from the spinal cord injury and the cervicogenic migraines that I have. I already had regular migraines. You think they're fun? Try getting a spinal cord injury and getting the ones that can produce. That's I grew up with migraines. I had them since I was 15. But the ones that started happening around the time of my diagnosis of what was going on in my neck, they make a regular migraine look like a walk in the park. So the medical marijuana helps with that too. So my pain management doctor was totally on board with that, and then also started me. He's a neurologist who specializes in headaches, which is what I needed. My previous neurologist was kind of at a loss, and she told me I really needed to find someone whose specialty was headaches. So I got referred to this doctor by my surgeon's office, by Dr. Fuller at the surgeon's office, specifically to discuss medical marijuana, which she supported me using to get a handle on the nausea, basically, which it did perfectly. And when I met him, it was like perfect. He's a neurologist who specializes in headaches, and he just so happens to be a doctor who's certified to prescribe medical marijuana. So for me, that was like win, win, win. I need a neurologist in general because of the spinal cord damage. Someone has to kind of keep track of that periodically because I do have other symptoms from it. I won't bore you with all of them. They're not related to weight loss. Like I said, I needed a neurologist who specialized in headaches, which this guy does, and then to have him also be like, he said to me, the medical marijuana is a no-brainer in your situation. Definitely do it. And then he was like, you have a headache every day of your life? I said, yeah, every day of my life I have a headache. Some days it's mild and annoying. Other days I can't get out of bed and turn the lights on even. And he was like, that is unacceptable. And it was so nice to hear someone, I'm sorry, there's like one of those tiny little fruit fly gnat things that keeps circling me for some reason. It was nice to hear someone besides me thinks that it's unacceptable for me to have a headache every day. So he started me on an additional medication, something relatively new. It's a once-a-month injection. I did find out when I went to the pharmacy that it's $150 copay for that once-a-month injection. But if it can control the headaches or help control the headaches, cut them down at least, it's well worth $150 a month. If you have migraines, you know what I'm talking about. So I feel like I definitely, I'm talking so much longer than I meant to. I apologize. Once I start, I'm going to kill this thing when I'm done with the video. So I feel like I'm on the right track as far as, the problems that had me not feeling good and thinking that the surgery had maybe been a mistake. They're gone. I'm not nauseous all the time. I'm not struggling as much with the hydration. And I still have to remind myself to drink, or I don't drink enough. It's easy to realize that you've let 2 or 3 hours go by and you haven't had anything to drink. And then trying to catch up, of course, we know is hard because you can't just glug it down, like, oh, let me glug down this bottle of water because I realized I didn't drink anything. Of course, we can't do that. But overall, feeling much better about all of that stuff. And my point was, if you're not feeling good, if you're feeling sick after you should have, given yourself a little time post-op, when you should be able to drink and eat, if you're still feeling sick and you can't, don't just accept it. Don't just say, oh my God, I made a mistake, which is how I was feeling when that happened. Keep talking to your doctor and make sure you get help so that you feel better. You did this to make yourself feel better so that you can enjoy life more. If you've had the surgery, that's probably why you did it, to be healthier and to feel better and to enjoy life more. So if you're not enjoying life because you feel sick and weak and like you're going to pass out because you can't eat and drink enough, it's easy to feel like the surgery was a mistake. If you're feeling that way, you got to keep talking to your doctor. And if your surgeon's not listening, then you need to speak to your primary. And if they're not listening, you need to get a referral to someone who will listen. So hopefully you're doing well, and if you're not, get yourself some help until you are feeling well. And have a great day, everybody.